ඉතින් කොහොමද කට්ටිය මේ සුබෝදෑසනක් කියලා පිළිගන්නවා හැම දිනකටම. ඉතින් ගොඩක් දවසකින් මේ වගේ ලයිව් එකක් අද අරගෙන එන්නේ. මට විනාඩියක් දෙන්න. රයිට්. ඉතින් කීප දෙනෙක් ලයිව් එක මේ වෙලාවේ බලනවා. මේ ලයිව් එක තමයි මම හිතන සවුන්ඩ්ස් බලමු මේකත් එක්ක අපි සවුන්ඩ්ස් බලමු හිතලා. මේ ලයිව් එක තමයි අද මම ඉන්නේ ගෙදර වෙනස් තැනක. ඒ කියන්නේ සමහරට ඔයාලට පොඩ බෑග්ග්‍රවුන්ඩ් එකයි මාවයි පොඩ්ඩක් ක්ලියර් නැතුව ඇති. ඒකට මේ මම තමයි ඉන්නේ. එතකොට ලොකු ප්‍රශ්නයක් නැහැ. ඉතින් මූණ දැකලා එපා වෙලා ඇතිනේ. ඉතින් ඒ නිසා මෙහෙම කතා කරමු. එතකොට අද මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එක තමයි අද පටන් ගන්නවා Gamescom. අද නෙවෙයි අතටම පටන් ගන්න හෙට Gamescom එක. Gamescom එක කිව්වට ඔයාලට ලොකු අදහසක් නැතුව ඇති ගොඩක් දෙනකොට. Gamescom කියලා කියන්නේ ඔය E3 ඒ වගේ E3 එක වගේම එකක් තමයි. E3 එක වගේම කන්ෆරන්ස් එකක්. මේක හැබැයි පවත්වන්නේ German Video Game Association එකෙන්. කියන්නේ ජර්මනිය කියලා කියන යුරෝපයේ මැද හරියේ උඩ තියෙන රටක්. එතකොට ඒ රටේ ජර්මනියේ ජර්මන් වල තියෙන වීඩියෝ ගේම් ඇසෝසියේෂන් කියලා එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ කට්ටියගේ රටේ හදාගත්ත වීඩියෝ ගේම් ඇසෝසියේෂන් එක. සංගමය, වීඩියෝ ක්‍රීඩාකරුවන්ගේ සංගමය. එතකොට මෙයාලගේ තියෙනවා වාර්ෂික මේ වගේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකක්. හැම අවුරුද්දකම ඉවෙන්ට් එක තියෙනවා. ඒක තමයි Gamescom කියලා කියන්නේ. එතකොට මේ Gamescom ඉවෙන්ට් එක සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අගෝස්තු මාසේ තමයි හැම අවුරුද්දකම තියෙන්නේ. 2018 තමයි පටන් ගන්නෙ. එතකොට අගෝස්තු මාසේ සාමාන්‍ය දවස් 3-4ක් විතර මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එක තියෙනවා. එතකොට හෙට තමයි අතරම ඉවෙන්ට් එක පටන් ගන්නෙ. දවස් 3ක් තියෙනවා මට මතකයි 25 26 27 දවස් 3 තමයි ඉවෙන්ට් එක මේ පාර තියෙන්නේ. එතකොට ඒ ඉවෙන්ට් එකට කලින්, කියන්නේ හෙට පටන් ගන්න Gamescom ඉවෙන්ට් එකට සමගාමීව අද තියෙනවා Xbox ලගේ ඉවෙන්ට් එකක්. ඒතර ඒ Xbox ඉවෙන්ට් එක තමයි මේව අරගෙන එන්නේ. ඇත්තටම මේක ලයිව් ඔයාලගේ මේකේ thumbnail එක දැක්කනම් දකින්න ඇති මේක live reaction එකක් නෙමෙයි මේක reaction video එකක්. දැනට පැය භාගයකට කලින්. දැනට විනාඩි 20 පැය භාගයකට විතර කලින් තමයි මේ event එක ඉවර වුණේ. හැබැයි මම අද ගෙදර ඉන්නේ. මං ගාව අද නැහැ fiber connection එක. මං ගාව තියෙන router එක. ඒ නිසා ඒ router එකෙන් මේ event එක තිබ්බ වෙලාවට මේ event එක live reaction එකක් විතර අරගෙන ඉන්න අමාරුයි. මේ bandwidth එක වැඩි හින්දා. يعني මේක බලන ගමන් ඔයාලට ඒ කියන්නේ describe කරන්න අමාරු හින්දා තමයි මේ සවුන්ඩ්ස් මදි වගේ කියලා හිතලා මම කතා කරන පොඩ්ඩක් සවුන්ඩ්ස් මදි අඩු වෙතියි. ඒකයි මේ මට හිමින් කතා කරන්නේ. මම සවුන්ඩ්ස් හදන්න. ඒක කවුල නැහැ සවුන්ඩ්ස් හදන්න පුළුවන්. ඕන දෙයක් කරන්න පුළුවන්. හරි. මේ එතකොට සද්ද වැඩි කරමු. එතකොට අද ගෙදර ඇවිල්ලා ඉන්නේ මම. නොයලක් විහකි හේතුවක් හින්දා අද ගෙදර ඉන්න සිද්ධ වුණා. ඒ නිසා මම හිතුවේ ඇත්තට මෙහි ඉඳන් මේ ලයිව් එක මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එක ලයිව් අරගෙන එන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා. මම වැඩ කරන තැන ඉඳන්. නමුත් පොඩි ප්‍රශ්නයක් ඇති වෙලා ගෙදර එන්න සිද්ධ වුණා. මේ ඒ නිසා ඉතින් ඔයාලට මේක ඉවෙන්ට් එක අරගෙන එන්නත් ඕනේ හින්දා තමයි මෙහෙම රියැක්ෂන් වීඩියෝ එකක් විදිහට අරගෙන එන්න පුළුවන් අරගෙන එන්න හිතුවේ. ඉතින් 12න් පස්සේ තමයි අපිට එහෙම දෙයක් කරගන්න පුළුවන්. මේ තියෙන සිග්නල් වල ලංකාවේ තියෙන සිග්නල් කනෙක්ෂන් මේ ඉන්ටර්නෙට් කනෙක්ෂන් නැත් එක. එහෙනම් තමයි මේ වෙලාවට ඉතින් අරගෙන එන්න එහෙම හරි අරගෙන එන්න ලැබුණ එක ලොකු දෙයක්. ඊට පස්සේ හෙට ඉවෙන්ට් එක තියෙනවා. මේ හෙට මේකේ ඔරිජිනල් Gamescom live එක මම හෙට දවසේ කොහොමත් අරගෙන එන්න බැරි වෙයි මට. මම බලන්නම් ඒක අනිද්දා වගේ ඔයාලත් එක්ක ඒ ගැන කතා කරමු ඉවෙන්ට් එක බලන ගමන්. මටත් හෙට බලන්න වෙන්නේ. මම හෙට අත්‍යවශ්‍ය රාජකාරියකට ගෙදරින් පිට යනවා. හරි එහෙනම් පටන් ගමුනේ මේ ඉවෙන්ට් එක පැය විනාඩි 20ක් විතර තියෙන ඉවෙන්ට් එකක්. ඒතර Xbox ලා ඉතින් දන්නවනේ Xbox ලා කියන්නේ කවුද කියලා. Xbox ලා තමයි මේක අරගෙන එන්නේ. මොන 18ට වැඩි කට්ටියට තමයි බලන්න පුළුවන් ඈ. එහෙම කියනවා. එයාලා තමයි කියන්නේ. මම නෙවෙයි. බලන්න සවුන්ඩ් බැලන්ස් කරන වීඩියෝ කොහොමද කියලා. සවුන්ඩ් බැලන්ස් බලලා මට කියන්න. මේක සවුන්ඩ් අඩු වැඩි කරන්න ඕනේ කියලා. මේ වීඩියෝ එක අඩු කරන්න වැඩි කරන්න ඕන නම් මට කියන්න ඕන ඒක අඩු වැඩි කරලා දෙන්න. මේ දන්නා ගේම් එක ෆ්ලයිට් සිමියුලේටර් එකෙන් තමයි පටන් ගන්න.
Hello everyone and welcome to our Gamescom 2021 Xbox stream.
We've got so many great game updates to share with you today. We're talking Age of Empires 4, Psychonauts 2, and my personal favorite, Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Later on, we'll take an extended look at Forza Horizon 5. There's so much going into this, and Playground Games' vision of Mexico is muy bonito.
And we'll be getting our first look at the cover card for the game, Paris. I got $5 on it being one of those electric scooters that you see piled up on the sidewalk.
Okay, $5. I guess we're about to find out.
Yes, indeed. Our Xbox Plays team will also chat with devs and deep dive into current and upcoming games all week on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Let's get started with Techland and their upcoming zombie parkour sequel, Dying Light 2: Stay Human.
Techland.
Hello, I am Timon Smektawa, Dying Light 2 lead game designer, and this is David Lubryka, animation director. Hi. We can't wait until December 7th to finally give you Dying Light 2 Stay Human, the game we have been working on really hard for the last few years.
We're hoping the gameplay video you're about to watch will give you a foretaste of parkour and combat systems waiting for you in the game.
And we are just about to enter the city, fighting our way through its brutal and dangerous streets. Though, as you will see in a moment, there are plenty of things you can use to your advantage. So watch closely, look for special combat and parkour moves, and check out how with just a bit of creativity you can combine the two. Ready? Let's go!
Sometimes I wonder what this city looked like before all this.
Combine the two. Ready?
Probably
Let's
like
go.
many others. Sometimes I wonder. People had their ambitions, plans. lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it. But it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador. They tell me they had a vision. They had hope. But soon, one vision broke into many different ones. People had their ambitions, plans, lives. Now it's all gone. The virus started it. But it was the people who made the world the way it is. This city, Villador.
Dying Light 2 ගැන දන්න Dying Light 1 Dying Light කියන පළවෙනි ගේම් එක අහලා ඇති ඔයාලා ගොඩක් දෙනෙක්.
But soon, one vision broke into many different ones.
හරිම ලස්සන zombie ගේම් එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ විදිහේ first person zombie theme එකකට හැදිච්ච games ටිකක් වෙනස් අමුතුම يعني zombie theme එකකට හැදුණු action adventure game එකක් නෙමෙයි. එතකොට පොඩි වෙනසක් තියෙනවා. එකක් තමයි අනිත් එක මොකද මේ Dead Island තමයි මේ වගේ අනිත් ගේම් එක ආවේ. Dead Island එකයි Dying Light එකයි තමයි මේ විදිහේ හොඳම ගේම්ස් වලට තියෙන්නේ.
Now the city is falling.
Each time we strike down an enemy, we absorb their strength.
But I
මේකේ
can't.
පාකෝඩ් එක තමයි නියම. මාරම ලස්සනයි.
At least, not yet. I need the secrets the city holds.
Fuck.
මේක ලොකු මේ ගේම් ප්ලේ එකක් කලින් අරගෙන ආවා. මේ Techland එකෙන්ම Dying
I
Light
have to pick a side.
ගේම් එකේ.
I need good people.
ඒක බලන්න නැති කොටක් දෙන්නේ. ඒකෙම කැලි තමයි
Doing
තියෙන්නේ.
great so far.
විශේෂම ලොකුවට නෑ.
I have to make a difference.
Let's check and see.
දිලා කොහොමද දිලා බලන්න රෑ 36 කරන්නේ දිලාන වල මතකද ඒ කමෙන්ට් කරන දිලාන තමයි අපේ දෙවනි ලයිව් ඩිස්කෂන් එකට ආවේ මේ සම්පත්දායකයා විදියට
How about
දිලාන
this?
කතා කරන බැනකොට තමයි මම කෝල් එකක් දෙන්නම් එතකොට වැඩ වැඩි ලස්සනයි මේ ගේම් එක මාර ලස්සනයි පුළුවන් නම් මේ Dying Light පළවෙනි ගේම් එක ගහපු නැති කට්ටිය ගහලා බලන්න.
Is all hope
Marla,
really gone? We'll see about that.
Well, that was an exciting trip, wasn't it, Timon? Did you notice those bandits in medieval-like armor passing by skyscrapers, banks, and large billboards? That's what we call a modern Dark Ages.
And it's a very unique design, one very important for the plot of Dying Light 2. But there's another thing that stood out to me, all those parkour moves that you and your team has put so much effort into.
Well, all you need is a few thousand of animations, cooperation with professional tracers, mock-up sessions, and invaluable help from David Bell, whose face and moves player will see in the
මේකේ
game.
ගොඩක් වෙලාට යන්නේ මේ
No, yes, right. And we've got
මේ වගේ
twice
event
the
එකක යන්නේ
number
සාමාන්‍යයෙන්
of parkour
event
moves
කියන්නේ
compared
එයාලගේ
to the first
video
game.
event එකක්
And
පෙන්වනවා
we are
video
showing
footage
some
එකක්
of them
පෙන්වනවා
in this trailer.
ඊළඟට
The Vault
මේ
Kings
වගේ
being
interview
the
එකක්
most
පොඩි
important to
මේ
me
game එක ගැන පොඩි
personally.
විස්තරයක්
It brings a
මොනවද
whole
අරන්
new
ඉන්නේ මේ
fighting
මොනවද
style into the
විශේෂතා
game.
ඒ වගේ
The
දේවල්
player
තමයි
can stagger an
සාමාන්‍යයෙන්
enemy
මේ වගේ
and
event එකක්
use
යන
them
විදිහින්
to
දැන්
perform
event බලවලට
further
පුරු වෙතිනේ
attacks. For example, by
E3 එකෙන් බලවලට
rebounding
ගොඩක්
from
පුරු
their
වෙන්නේ
bodies,
events බලන එක
jumping of them onto
ඊට
other
පස්සේ මේ
foes,
මං හිතන්නේ
and so on.
මේ
I
අවුරුද්දේ
think we
තියෙන
captured the movement really
තුන්වෙනි හෝ
well
හතරවෙනි
and made
Xbox
it
event
quite
එක වෙන්න
simple
ඕන
for the players to perform.
Xbox event
I
බලලා
can't
තවත්
wait
හුරු
for them
වෙති
to try it out and
Xbox
tell
වල
for
සාමාන්‍යයෙන්
themselves how
ප්‍රසන්ටර්
much they
කෙනෙක්
love
එකතු වෙලා ප්‍රසන්ටර්
It's
ප්‍රසන්ට් කරනවා
definitely
මේ
going to be
විදිහේ
useful.
තමයි
The
යන්නේ
city's
ගලාගෙන යන්නේ
buildings are higher than anything we have done before, improving its verticality. Players will need to find a way to reach those tall skyscrapers and other challenging spots too.
Then it's good we scattered some helpers around, like a paraglider, which can support players in both parkouring and combat.
කීව පාරක්
Exactly, and
හරිය
it's
ගේම් එකක්
gonna do great, especially in
Kalgila,
fights
Kalgila,
against
yeah.
humans,
Yeah.
which are more frequent and important than in Dying Light 1. It's been over
T-shirt
20
tegen die
years
krijgen,
since the
Light.
events from the first game, so people adjusted. They are much bolder now, at least during the day.
And they are
stay
more vicious
human
too.
make it
And I think that's a great summary of this discussion. Pre-order Dying Light 2 and explore its vast, complex world on December 7th.
අනික open world
Thanks, David.
එතකොට
Thank you.
stay human නේ මට මතක නැහැ මේක release date එක
For the first
officially
time
announce
in
කරාද
the
කියලා
storied history of the franchise, Microsoft
අයියා,
Flight
අන්තන්.
Simulator launched
මතකේ
on a
නෑ
home
මට.
console with the release on
කරත් කවද්ද
Xbox
මේක
Series
කියලා
X and S last month. Reviewers and gamers alike were blown away by how well the
මේ අරගනේ
stunning
කලර්
visuals
කෝඩ්ස්
and
ටික
the
මෙයාගේ
depth of the
t-shirt එකේ
simulation
අර
translated
මතකද
to the
මේ
console, and that's why
Xbox
I'm
control එකට
extremely
කලර්ස්
honored
කලර්
to
කෝඩ්ස්
welcome the
එකක්
head of Microsoft
ඒක
Flight
මං හිතන්නේ
Simulator,
මේව කරන්න
York
තමයි
Newman, to the stream. York, thank you for being here. The
Percentage.
last time we met was at the Xbox Game Showcase,
Oh,
and it was getting ready to come out on consoles. How did that go?
It went great. As you said, the reaction to the Xbox console launch was really just amazing. Both from Xbox gamers and from the press, they've been so gracious with their feedback. I don't know if you know, but Flight Simulator is one of the highest rated games on Xbox this year, which I think is just great validation that the translation of the simulation to the console has really worked well. Our usage numbers are through the roof. We are absolutely shattering franchise records, and I can tell you there have never been more people playing Flight Simulator than right now. So it's an awesome time.
That is awesome. Congratulations on the launch, really. But
all right.
I want to go to the danger zone. So what's going on with Top Gun?
There's so much going on, Paris. So you and I talked about Top Gun Maverick earlier. The fans are super excited. They saw the FA-18. They can't wait to start flying. And as you know, it comes out later this year as free DLC alongside the movie. But as the movie is still under wraps, so are we, so I can still not tell you that much about it. But there's so much else going on even before Maverick. So we are continuing to do our monthly big releases that we've been doing for a long time. And next month, on September 7th, we are launching World Update 6, and this World Update, at the beginning of the show, if you remember, there was a little red plane flying into Cologne. Well, we did that because World Update 6 updates that region, the region of Gamescom, so Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. And what that means to us is we have new aerial and satellite images, we have a new elevation map that helps us with the mountains, so the Alps actually look awesome now. We have new 3D cities like Frankfurt and Wuppertal in Germany, Switzerland, Vienna and Graz in Austria. And those cities look just amazing. They have like 7 centimeters resolution, and it's awesome. But we want to celebrate the entire region, so we picked 100 of the most scenic places, the most famous landmarks, and we sort of spread them throughout the simulation. And we also added airports. We did Lübeck and Stuttgart in Germany, and Klagenfurt in Austria, and St. Gallen in Switzerland. And what ties it all together is discovery flights, we have new landing challenges, and we have new
පාකිස්තානය ඒ හැම ස්වාධීන පාලන
tours of the
ප්‍රදේශ.
country. So they
ඒව
fly
රටවල්
you
විතර
about all
සලකලා
the
නැහැ.
awesome looking places, really
ස්වාධීන පාලන
celebrate the
ප්‍රදේශ.
beauty
අනිවාර්යයෙන්
of this
ඔක්කොම එකතු
region of
වුණාම
Earth.
200
And this is a celebration
මතක් තියෙනවා මම
of
හිතන්නේ.
DACH,
ඔය
of
ඔක්කොටම
Germany,
අපිට
Austria,
යන්න
and
බෑ.
Switzerland. I'm so happy to be able to announce the date here at Gamescom.
ඒකින්ද ඉතින් අනිත් රටවල් ඇත්තටම බලා කියා
You know,
ගන්න හරි හොඳ chance
that
එකක්
is
මේ
really
වගේ game
incredible,
එකක්.
all the different regions and everything that you're going to have in the game and the way that you're going to be able to actually highlight those.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. But you know, for us, it's actually not just the region and the visuals. We talked a lot when you study aviation, when you love aviation like we do. You actually realize that a lot of regions of Earth have a very special relationship with flying, with aviation. Sometimes it's the first experiments with aircraft, or a famous pilot, or a feat of aviation, or like a local manufacturer. So we thought to ourselves, why don't we not use these world updates to celebrate the planes? So we are announcing a new series. We call them local legends. And think about that as planes that are locally well known, like in that region, but outside in the world not so much. But why not use the world updates to highlight this, to bring these awesome machines to a worldwide audience? So for World Update 6, we picked a German plane from the 1930s. It's called Junkers U-52. In Germany, it's lovingly named Tante U, so Aunt U. And we think of us as sort of a digital preservation. So we really want to get these planes to an extreme level of detail. We're going out of our way to really go deep. So we're doing a full scan. We'll take full scans of the outside and the inside, as detailed as 1 millimeter, which is as good as you can do this. And then we're working with, for the Junkers, we work with Bernd Junkers, who is the grandson of the original creator of the plane, Hugo Junkers. And he's helping us. He had a ton of insight and materials. Then we work with an organization that is preserving one of the last surviving examples of the Junkers. So they let us scan and take photographs. And then we were lucky that to find a pilot that actually flew one of those planes while he was still flying in the real world. And he lets us know, like, is the cockpit right? And the sounds right? Does it feel right in the air? So we're having a blast working with these experts to really bring these, to celebrate this plane, to bring them back to life.
So this is almost like you're creating like a digital museum for aviation inside Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically that. It's a museum with flyable planes. So we're working with 40 museums around the world. And it's honestly one of the funnest parts of the job. You end up working with these curators of planes. These are their babies. And they sort of see the tools of time in the real world.
Digital museum
they're so happy when we come in with our scanning equipment and we're basically capturing their planes, and they know that we can digitally preserve them.
අපිට කවදාවත් බෑනේ
And we're actually
දෙවල්
giving
කාලේ
those
ප්ලේන්
scans
එකක
back to the
එක්ස්පීරියන්ස්
museum
එක
so
ගන්න.
they can do something with it. Just
යාලා කියන්නේ
a
ඒවත්
great
මේකට එකතු
collaboration.
කරනවා
And
යාලගේ
we're actually
digital
not just
museum එකක් වගේ
looking back
aviation
at the
museum
history of
එකක් වගේ
aviation,
යාලා
we're also looking towards the
game
future.
එක
So
develop
another
කරනවා
announcement, we
ඒකත්
are
හරි
working with a
වටින දෙයක් අපිට ඉගෙන
fascinating
ගන්න දේවල්
German
ගොඩක්
company
තියෙනවා
called
නේ.
Volocopter. And they're making an eVTOL air taxi for urban traffic. So they have a vision of the future, how these drone type machines basically connect people in large cities. We're working directly with the engineering team to make sure that we are capturing the plane, the aircraft perfectly in the flight simulator. That's coming out in November.
I mean, you weren't kidding when you're saying that there's a lot going on inside of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is there anything else you want to share?
Yeah, there's one more thing. Yeah, we are so happy to announce that we've partnered with RARA. That's the Reno Air Racing Association. They, every year they put on something called the Steel National Championship Air Race, and we're bringing this to Flight Simulator. So this is the fastest motorsport. This is right down your alley. It's the fastest motorsport on Earth, and I actually brought you a little trailer to look at.
So race, speed. We go into the danger zone, baby. Let's go ahead and show that.
දැන් නම් ඇහෙන්න ඕන. අන්න දැන් බලමු. Played day one PC console Game Pass.
You know I like going fast, and you know I love being in the danger zone. When is this coming out?
Man, these planes, they fly 500 miles, faster than 500 miles an hour, 50 to 250 feet above the ground. So you are definitely going to be in the danger zone. I mean, without going into too much detail, this Reno Air Race is actually the largest expansion we have since we launched on Flight Simulator. It's not just because we scanned all the famous race planes of the world, there's lots of them. This is also the first time when you can basically race against your friends and pilots across the planet. And so a competitive multiplayer is coming to Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that will definitely test your pilot skills. And you ask, when is it coming out? This is coming out this fall, so it's right around the corner.
Oh, that is fantastic. And you know I have the need for speed, so I can't wait to get my hands on this and participate in some of these races.
Awesome, we got you covered.
Thank you. If going fast on the ground is more your speed, keep an eye out for extended look at Forza Horizon 5 later on in the stream. We'll also talk with Wasteland 3's game director about the game's next big DLC. But first, if you're an Xbox Game Pass subscriber, we have some great news for you.
Humble Games. Humble කියලා කියන හොඳ සයිට් එකක්. තියෙන පොඩි පොඩි ගේම්ස් එන ගේම්ස් 10 15 එහෙම ඩොලර් දෙක තුනට සමහරලාට හම්බ වෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒ ලොකු ගේම්ස් නෙමෙයි. හරි ඉතින් අද පොඩි පොඩි ගේම්ස් ටික ඔය වගේ ප්ලැට්ෆෝම් ගේම්ස් එක මරු කාස හිතනවා සමහර ඒවා. ඉතින් අපි ඊටවට මේවා මෙලෝ රහන්නේ නැහැ කියලා දැක්කම ඒක ගහන්න ගත්තාම තමයි ඒක ආතල් කියලා තේරෙන්නේ. Game Pass එක තමයි ඉතින් මෙයාලට තියෙන හොඳම ආයුධය.
Somehow they did it. They added even more games to Game Pass. But let's talk about what's coming up. We're talking Age of Empires 4, the game's creative director.
Age of
And
Empires
we're going to see what's next for Sea of Thieves. But now we've got a new roguelike retro shooter that, in grand retro fashion, sends you plundering through shifting dungeons to defeat a mysterious eldritch terror. Let's dive into it.
Age of Empires ගැන පස්සේ කියන්නේ මේ වෙන ගේම් එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ කියන්නම් කියලා අර අපිට ඇඩ් එකක් වගේ දෙන්න. මේ Into the Pit කියලා මොකක් හරි අර ඇරීනා බැටල් ඇරීනා වගේ ගේම් එකක්. බැටල් ඇරීනා ගේම් එකක් කියනවා. නමත් එක්ක බලපුවාම පෙන් එකත් එක්ක අර Black Light ගේම් ගහලා තියෙනවා නම් Black Light Retribution. Amazing. Into the pit. Pit එක කියලා කියන්නේ ඇරීනා එකනේ. pit එක කියලා තමයි කියන්නේ fighting pit එක. Doom එක වුණත්
Well, I am here with creative director of World's Edge, Adam Icegreen. And Adam, I'm so excited to talk H4, of course, because you've brought something a little different and very special.
So far, we've been showing everyone kind of what Age looks like in the game, when you're playing it. You've gotten to see a lot of footage of that, and we've also shown a little bit of our campaigns, right? Through when we unveiled 100 Years of War and Joan of Arc. But we have yet another way in Age of Empires 4 that we're kind of bringing this to life that we haven't talked about yet.
See, you do this to me. You put me in suspense. I want to know more, so let's go with it. Let's hear it more.
Okay, wait, you get 1 moment of suspense. Okay, that's enough. So what we brought today is we have these wonderful little videos that we've created that are interspersed amongst the campaign, and they're about 3 to 5 minutes each. And we have over an hour of them total, and they're called Hands-on Histories. And what they are is a great way to like deep dive on certain fun subjects from the cultures we're representing and just from medieval history.
Excellent. Well, I hear you've actually brought one of the segments that you're going to share here for the very first time.
Yes, I have. We are going to show you the segment on one of the most popular units from Age of Empires franchise and a fan favorite, the Trebuchet.
Excellent. Well, this I gotta see. Let's take a look.
ඒ කියන්නේ සෑහෙන ලොකු අයිඩියාවක් ගන්න පුළුවන් මේක
A counterweight trebuchet
Ancestor Legacy
was the king of all siege
මේ
engines.
වගේ
A catapult
live action
capable of smashing
trailers.
down castle walls from
අල්ල දෙක
great
වර පෙන්වනවා
distances.
live action මේව හදනවා මෙයාලා
At Warwick Castle in England, they've built a replica, one of the largest in the world. Originating in 7th century China, by the 13th century, trebuchets had evolved into devastatingly powerful weapons.
Such a simple design, but so effective.
Doctor
It has several key features.
ආචාර්ය
A pivoted arm with a weight at one end, and a sling to
කප්පිනේ
hold the projectile at the
කප්පි
other.
සහ ලීවර
To prime, the 6-ton
Oh,
weight is
right.
raised using tread
ඔයාලා
wheels.
ෆිසික්ස් වලට එහෙම
So this is one of the wheels, one of two that's attached to an axle, which would lift the counterweight, weighing 6 tons. It's based on muscle
6 tons.
power alone.
ටොන් 6ක්
What's
උස්සන්න
essential
පුළුවන් එක
about launching
මිනිසෙකුගේ
a
මේක
projectile as far as possible is making sure that
මේ
this
කාලේ
end
මිනිස්සු
of the
හොයාගන්න
arm
දේවල්
is
නේ
moving as
ඒවා
fast as
ඒවා
possible. So once that weight drops, it really
අද
sends
වෙනකොට
this
develop
point
වෙලා
of the
තමයි දුඹ කර
arm moving at its highest velocity.
ඒ වගේ දේවල් හැදිලා තියෙනවා
This was done by positioning the pivot close to the
මනුස්සයා
counterweight
යට එකේ අර රෝදේ දිගේ
and by
කරගෙනකොට තමයි
launching the
ඒක ඉස්සෙන්නේ
projectile from a sling. When released, the sling whips round, vastly increasing the launch speed. Trebuchets were carefully aimed, like modern guns.
In order to
ඒතර
weaken the
aim එකෙන්
castle
ගන්න
walls or
කොහොමද?
even breach them, you had
හිතනවා
to make
මේ
sure that
වගේ
the
දුරට යනවා
projectiles
කියලා.
hit the same spot every single time.
For each projectile to follow the same trajectory, they all had to be the same weight and shape.
ඒකනේ අනිවාර්යෙන් වෙන්න එපේ
To achieve this, masons used a gauge.
ඒ කියන්නේ මොකක් හරි
Now I'm going to
එකට
load
ගත්තා නම් එක
this projectile into the sling.
මෙයාලා දැන් aim
This
කරනවා
one must
කියන්නකො
weigh
කොහෙද
about
දැනකට
25 kilograms, but some projectiles
ඊළඟ
can get
එකත්
up to
එතෙන්ටම යන්න නම්
150 kilograms. That's the
ඒ
weight
බරම
of 2
වෙන්නත්
men.
ඕන ඒ ෂේප් එක වෙන්න මොකද බලය අන්ට යන්න ඕනේ යන්නේ
Trebuchets
ඒ
were
ෂේප් එක
also
වෙන්න ඕන
used to
වාතයෙන්
throw
එන
burning
ප්‍රතිවිරුද්ධ
tar,
තෙරපුම නැති වෙන්න
beehives,
ඒ තෙරපුම සමාන
even
වෙන්න
dead bodies. Anything to cause maximum
ඒකින්ද හැම
distress to the
උණ්ඩයක්ම
enemy.
එක සමානව හදන්න ඕන
Did you hear that whoosh?
දැන් ඒක අද කාලේ මේ
It was the
අනේ
counterweight
ඔය
trebuchet's
කරන්න බෑ
lethal
චුරද හදනවා කිව්වට
combination of
ඒ
power
කාලේ
and
ඉතින් ඔක වෙන
accuracy
ගේමක් වෙන්නේ අනික
that made it the
එකපාරක් වෙන්න
ultimate
තිබ්බා මේ උණ්ඩ
medieval
ඉවරයි
siege weapon.
එකපාරක් වෙන්න තියෙන උණ්ඩේ වෙනුවෙන් මාරු විදිහට මහන්සි වෙන්න නැති මිනිස්සු තවරසියට
You know I'm going to say trebuchet. Don't care because that is awesome and remarkably unique, something you don't see in games very often.
Yeah, so, you know, one of the things when we were looking at what we were going to do with Age of Empires 4, there's a phrase I'm really fond of, which is history is only as interesting as the people who taught it to you. And you could say that about any subject, really, right? But I think the great thing is when you have someone that's so enthusiastic and passionate about history, it really comes across. And we wanted to be that kind of teacher for history. And there's a phrase called Humanized History that I use to kind of describe what we try to do, which is we try to like connect past and present. And you can see that kind of in our briefings as well, where we've got like real stuff with like CG kind of overlaid to show you the history. And so for these, we really wanted to do that same thing. So ourselves and Relic partnered with this amazing group in the UK called Lion TV. And they've done production on an amazing amount of shows and documentaries for the BBC and won every award you can imagine for media. And they travel to all of these locations in all these different countries to meet with these subject matter experts and get all of this great footage on how things really worked and how things were made. And it's been delightful to kind of go through that process and, you know, get all these and finally start showing them to everyone.
I love it. Now, you also, of course, you've got a bunch, as you mentioned, of these hands-on history segments. Anything else that you can tell us fans about what we can expect, looking forward to, favorites you got coming up?
Oh, well, favorites. Well, I think my personal favorite is one called and I'm going to let your imagination go with what we might show and what we might talk about in that one. But the thing I love about it is that they go all over the place. So, you know, we've got ones on warfare and castle building and like how they kept flaming arrows from not going out when she shot them. And but we've also got all of these ones on, you know, like illuminated history, hawk falconing, and, you know, like horse taming, armor creation, and there's even one on Mongolian instrumentation, which is really cool because those instruments, we actually use them in the soundtrack for the Mongols when you're playing as them in the campaign, in the game.
I mean, I just love the behemoth amount of history that you guys. Age of Empires is always known for bringing history alive in a completely different way, and I also love to mention this to people that you and the team do so much research. It's so great to see this approach being used in a hands-on history kind of segment. But I mean, what was that approach like to sort of, you know, sell going forward, especially since it's such a unique in-game experience?
Well, the cool thing was it was there from day one. It was one of the things I really wanted to do was try to tell these stories in a different way. But I'll tell you, like, full disclosure, it's been insanely nerve-wracking because we're trying something completely different that no one's ever done before in a game, right? We're history, but we're a game, but we're teaching you things, but you're having fun. And finding that middle ground has been really challenging. And, you know, every time we've tried to we've shown the campaigns or we've shown these hands-on histories, I've been like, oh God, is it gonna work? Like, people gonna like this? And the great thing is so far, everyone that's really experienced the entire thing put together have just been like, wow, this is great, and it's so different and kind of cool and refreshing. But yeah, it's been a journey to get all this done and put the whole game together.
Well, I love that you mentioned Journey because we are coming towards the end of this development journey for Age 4. Talk to me about where people can find and learn more about Age of Empires 4. I know they're all chomping at the bit.
Oh, well, you know, October 28th, we are launching the game. You can go to ageofempires.com to learn more about the title. And if you're really, really excited, right now, you can go onto the Microsoft Store or Steam, pre-order the game right now. And of course, we will be there day one. Xbox Game Pass for PC as well, so anyone that's on that can just grab the game and start playing.
Yes, I believe you are part of some special.
Yes, so Gamescom opening night live.
Yes.
11 a.m. Pacific time. There might be a Age of Empires related in there, so if you're a fan, you might a bit of a tease from Mr. Ice Green.
Maybe. And I like it very much. Adam, thank you so much for joining us here. Always a pleasure. Age of Empires 4 looks fantastic, so I cannot wait. October 28th, neither should you. Now, we have tons coming up here today, including a new update for State of Decay 2 and an extended look at Forza Horizon 5 with our friends at Playground Games. But now, let's catch up with Paris, who's gone from flying the skies in Microsoft Flight Sim to a different kind of cloud.
That's right, Kate. Xbox Cloud Gaming is already available on Windows PCs, mobile phones, and tablets. And now, it's coming to Xbox consoles. The future with cloud gaming sounds bright. No waiting to install, no running out of hard drive space, no waiting to patch, and no buying a new console just to play with your friends. See how the vision of cloud gaming will bring people together without barriers.
So when I think about cloud and when I think about gaming, those two things together to me really show you the future where you can pick up something and you could play it anywhere and you could do it quickly.
Cloud gaming කියන එක නම් මාර මේ එක මාරම එකක්. ඒ කියන්නේ මේ මෙච්චර කාලයකට දැන් platform කියන බැරි එක දැන් අපිට සෑහෙන තිබුණානේ.
This actually looks so good.
Platform බැරි එක සෑහෙන දුරට කැඩෙන එකක්.
Want to keep the ones that you know you love on your hard drive.
අපිට ඕන තැනක ඉඳලා ඕන console එකකින් ඕන game එකක් play කරන්න පුළුවන්.
It's super exciting that for our Game Pass Ultimate members, they will get to experience Xbox Cloud Gaming on whatever console they have.
Cloud gaming is really about looking at how people play differently. I know me in particular, sometimes I just have 20 minutes.
It should be as easy as finding the game that you look for on your console and just jumping right in.
We're targeting 1080p at 60 frames per second.
What's crazy about this is like the latency. This is the kind of stuff you need with cloud gaming.
Oh, 60 frames? That's actually very smooth.
The process itself to get into cloud gaming feels like you're playing on console, right? You go, you find the game you want, you press play.
It's so easy nowadays. You can pick up any device and pretty much play any Xbox game on Game Pass.
If my friends have titles that I don't have yet, I can just wait for them to send me an invite. It makes content just so much more accessible.
I really love the flexibility. It's awesome.
Everything that Xbox is doing right now is just getting rid of the limits of having to be on a specific platform or a specific console, on PC, mobile, and now on Gen 8.
Yeah, Gen 8 consoles can play Gen 9 content. Isn't that so cool?
With cloud gaming, we have the ability, because you are connecting to consoles that are in our data centers, to allow the Gen 8 customers, the Xbox One customers, to play games that their hardware wouldn't have been able to play without it.
There's so much opportunity when it comes to thinking about how we can make content more readily available and let people play where they want to. Sign me up. I'm ready for cloud gaming right now. Let's do it. When's the release date? When does it release?
cloud gaming.
August 9th saw the release of the free optimized update for Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice on the Xbox Series S and X. With beautiful and rich visuals, thanks to the addition of ray tracing and improved materials alongside performance updates, this is the perfect opportunity to relive Senua's journey or experience it for the first time. And if you haven't played this, do yourself a favor, grab a pair of headphones and immerse yourself into this world.
Great. Speaking of unique experiences on Game Pass, the Xbox Plays team will be taking a look at some indie Xbox titles over the next few days, including 12 Minutes and The Big Con.
Hellblade.
They're also talking with developers from Halo, the Master Chief Collection, Forza Horizon 5, and Destiny 2. So join the live Q&A to get your burning questions answered. You can catch all of those streams on twitch.tv/Xbox.
Speaking of Forza Horizon 5, don't forget our friends at Playground Games will give us an extended look at their monument to motoring in Mexico later on.
That includes never-before-seen areas of the game map plus cars that have never been in the Forza franchise before. I've loved everything I've seen of Forza Horizon 5 so far, and I can't wait. Now, Kate, there's more games to check out, right?
Well, right you are, Paris. Let's talk Wasteland 3. Their newest DLC introduces us to a new cult. The Cult of the Holy Detonation.
The Holy Detonation is life. Deep within Cheyenne Mountain, we've changed. Devolved into the mutations you see before you. Set on a righteous path. The Holy Detonation's life-giving glow should be shared with everyone. May the light of the Holy Detonation purify you. Join us, Rangers.
Wasteland 3. Wasteland හොඳයි. මම Wasteland ගැහුවා. Wasteland 2 ගැහුවා. හැබැයි ඉවර කරේ නෑ දෙකම.
With new patches, bug fixes, and added features like a fine wine, Wasteland 3 just gets better with age. To really savor the game's bouquet, we're talking with inXile game director David Rogers. David, thank you for joining us.
I'm super stoked to be here. Thanks.
So in the trailer, we saw that the DLC is coming out on October 5th, but we know, inXile Wasteland 3, you guys have been working on this for a very long time. So can you kind of talk about that journey?
Yeah, our dev team has been working nonstop full tilt, trying to make Wasteland 3 the best version of itself it could be. Over the past year since it's released, we've added features, we've balanced, we've listened to the community, we've fixed bugs, added stability, and I really think that the version that we have now is the absolute best version of the game, and if you've never played it before, now's an awesome time to jump in.
Well, congratulations on everything that you've been doing with Wasteland 3. Now, this DLC is called The Cult of the Holy Detonation. Now, talk about that a little bit. Tell me what's going to go into this DLC. What should we be excited about?
Right. So you've heard of Cheyenne Mountain, right?
Yes.
For those who haven't, Cheyenne Mountain is this top secret military complex buried deep in the heart of Cheyenne Mountain in the middle of Colorado. It's designed to outlast a nuclear winter. And so when you hit level 16, an old friend calls you and says, hey, I need your help securing this secret military base and all the secrets within. And as soon as you get there, you find two warring cults battling over supremacy, trying to take control of the Holy Detonation, which is this pre-war science experiment that they worship as a god. And these cultists are insane, they're mutated, they've gone totally mad, and all they want to do is share the holy radiation with you and your entire ranger team. How generous!
Yeah, that sounds a lot cooler than some of the cults I may have joined in the past, but this is typical Wasteland fashion. We're really going to be able to get in there and mix it up, right?
Right. So you and your ranger team insert yourself right smack dab in the middle of their holy war, which, what could go wrong? And this is a Wasteland game, so you decide everything. Choice and consequence is our bread and butter. And so you decide who lives, who dies, who gets screwed over, who takes charge. You're deciding the fate of the cults, the Holy Detonation, Cheyenne Mountain, and ultimately all of Colorado. This is really your game to craft and mold.
That's awesome. So the last expansion was the Battle of Steeltown, right? You had giant robots and things like that. So, what are you going to do to actually top something like that from the last expansion?
Right. So we wanted returning players to find something that they could never find in another version or in previous versions of Wasteland 3. And so we built this as a Wasteland-style dungeon crawl. And in there, you find this awesome mix of mystery, exploration. You're meeting these crazy cultists who have been locked in this pre-war time capsule, and some of the raddest boss battles we have ever been able to build in a Wasteland game.
That's awesome. I want to get back to the crazy cultists, but talk to me about these big boss battles. I want to hear more about that.
Right. So we took the best parts of Wasteland combat and we breathed new life into it with objective-based combat, which are basically super rad boss battles. It's no longer you're huddling in a corner, throwing down turrets, just going on murderous rampages. It's not about killing, it's about getting the job done. And so now, combat doesn't end until the mission is over. We send you on proper combat missions. You're in there, breaking into prisons, rescuing POWs. You're disrupting these high-tech cultist rituals. You are splitting your fire team and coordinating like you never have had to before. Everyone on your team has a job, and I really think this is going to take old players who know their ranger team like the back of their hands, and it's going to make them scratch their head and really have to rethink how they go about combat and making it new, exciting, and challenging mentally in a way we haven't been able to really do before with just straight up murder combat.
Now, Wasteland has a reputation for little silly.
Right.
What are some of the weird characters we can expect in some of the story encounters?
Yeah, with Cult of the Holy Detonation, we really got to cut our devs loose and just let them be creative and fun and silly. And Exile's modus operandi is if we're brainstorming and something makes us laugh, we just put it in the game. That's just how we do it. We pick up pieces afterwards. Because we want to make something that entertains us, and then we know if we're having fun, our fans are going to have fun along with us. And so we got to explore, really letting you get deep into this weird radiation cult and let you interact with them and talk with them and tell stories and maybe even join them. And so for instance, one of the characters you meet, one of the first cultists you meet, is this slathering beast. He's got claws and fangs and spikes jutting out, and he's drooling, but he's the nicest guy in Cheyenne Mountain. You meet him and he's like, hey guys, you should come in here and soak up some of these rads, it'll be great. And he Sherpas you in and lets you meet the whole cult. And another one of my favorites is the Proteus. He's what you get if you took 20 cultists and you melted them into a big pile, kind of I would do this with a magnifying glass. I would melt army guys and GI Joes into a big pile, and he's wet and sloppy and gross, and he's hard to understand, and he needs a translator supposedly, but he's your #1 fan, and getting to build this totally out there wild extreme character was a ton of fun to write for. It's a ton of fun to explore what makes this cult tick, and he's an absolute blast. Hell, even some of the weapons that you find in Cheyenne Mountain, they're devolved cultists. There's one guy and he kind of devolved into this vomiting bagpipe creature, and he has this real kill me vibe about him. But we get to play with these fun body horror themes that let us jackknife between sort of like dark and serious and like goofy and funny, which is a line that Wasteland really loves to ride. Like, you know, a lot of really important stuff is at stake, but, you know, the Wasteland's a pretty bizarre place.
Oh, I can imagine. Now, we talked before, you've been working on Wasteland 3 for a while. There's already expansions that are out there. But say I'm a new player. Say I'm watching this right now and I'm like, man, I want to get into Wasteland 3. What would you suggest for new players wanting to get into this?
And like I said at the top, like Wasteland is like the best version of itself right now because of all the work we've put into it over the past year. And so you can get the whole thing with the Colorado collection. That's the base game plus Cult of the Holy Detonation and Battle of Steeltown, all for a discount. Or if you have Game Pass, you already have Wasteland 3. Just download it and play it, and then you can get both expansions with the expansion
game and both DLC.
That is awesome. Now, to kind of recap this a little bit, we've talked about, you know, spewing pus bags and these weird characters and the cults and the boss battles and all these really cool things that are going to be in Wasteland 3. But please remind everyone before we get out of here, when can you pick up this DLC?
Right, this Work of Passion, it comes out on October 5th. We're really stoked.
That is awesome. So this is the Cult of the Holy Detonation coming October 5th. David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, Barish. Appreciate it.
In the 3 years since its launch, Sea of Thieves has played host to some incredible crossovers, including unique ship sets inspired by games like Battletoads, State of Decay, Halo, and more. Today, we're excited to announce a brand new special event that will award players an all-new ship as a part of the latest wild crossover heading to Sea of Thieves. Better yet, this event begins tomorrow. So get ready to make some mayhem, and let's get our first look at this very special ship.
E3 එකේ ඉඳන්ම ආව හැම එකකම වගේ මේ Borderlands එකේ මේක E3 එකේ ඉඳන් ආව හැම එකකම පෙන්නවා Borderlands. Okay.
Guten Tag, everyone. Really cool to be a part of this all-digital Gamescom event. And we were thinking, what's the best way to kind of celebrate Gamescom and to be a part of this as Sea of Thieves? And so we're really excited to reveal that we're bringing the Mayhem ship set that you've just seen, a really, really cool ship that's inspired by Borderlands, into Sea of Thieves. And we're giving all of our players a chance to learn it during kind of the Gamescom time period. So it's been really cool to work with the Borderlands team to bring this ship to life. And giving all of our players the chance to earn it as part of this live event that we've cunningly titled Mayhem. You might notice the link. So you can probably guess the kind of activities that are involved. But if you head to Larina, or any of the outposts in the Sea of Thieves world, she'll be able to fill you in on the details of what we need to go into the ship set. So we hope everybody gets a chance to take part in this awesome time event. So it starts today and it runs through to September the 7th. So that's the time period you've got to get your hands on the Mayhem ship set. And I think that's it from me. So, as always, I will see you on the seas.
Hope. It's always been a dangerous world in
colors, true colors, ne? Ah, ne. State of Decay.
But now, it's hope.
That brings us back together.
It reunites old friends.
State of Decay to
it builds new bonds. And in the face of a growing threat, hope is the greatest weapon we have.
Help me. This is Hayatina. looks stupid.
Welcome back
Homecoming.
to Trumbull Valley.
State of Decay 2 Homecoming.
Just like zombies themselves, it seems everything old is new again in State of Decay 2. And we have a guest to walk us through this Undead update. Please join me in welcoming Undead Labs Director of Communications, Wanda Russell. Hello, Wanda. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. It's great to be here. Talk about the Homecoming update releasing on September 1st. We are very excited to get this into players' hands.
You are indeed. So let's talk about the Homecoming update. Obviously, we are coming back to Trumbull Valley. We were there for Heartland, the update back in 2019. Talk to me about the differences, and I'll sit right here and listen because you're adorable.
So Heartland is the story mode within the game, but it's a very linear, narrative-driven experience. You know, players can move their communities there. So that's all changed with the Trumbull Valley map. It is the 5th core open world map. It's fully remastered, and it expands into 2 territories that were completely inaccessible in Heartland. So players can return to Trumbull Valley with their communities, start new communities there, and really start exploring everything that the new map has to offer.
So then would Homecoming be a sequel then to Heartland?
Yeah, exactly right. So the events in Heartland kind of play out. You see what happens in Trumbull Valley. So we think of it as the 3rd part of our Trumbull saga that began with the original State of Decay game, continued into Heartland, and now we see what has happened since then and what storylines might be coming to a close. So there is a lot for players to discover, a lot of environmental storytelling to find, and you know, things have changed. So this isn't the Trumbull Valley that players might remember. So that's going to be exciting.
Interesting. Well, and anytime you expand something like Trumbull Valley, you just have to have a juggernaut of content, pun intended. Talk to me a little bit about what some of those things are that players can get in on here now in the expanded Trumbull Valley.
Yes, a ton of new content. In fact, we're doing something unique with the Trumbull Valley map. There are items there that you can only find on that map and nowhere else in the game, including 12 new hats and outfits, 10 new very cool weapons. We've got 6 new bases, 2 new achievements for achievement hunters. And on top of that, we are adding the game's 12th bounty pack. So that will be available from the bounty broker across all maps. And I have to say, they are some of the coolest weapons I have ever seen go into the game. I'm so excited for people to find them.
A juggernaut amount of content, and I don't care who sees that second pun of the day. That works out great. Well, let's talk about the State of Decay community, because it's absolutely an integral part to this entire franchise. And State of Decay being on Xbox Game Pass, how has that impacted the community? How has that impacted the game? Talk to me about those.
It's been fantastic, and you know, we have an amazing community. We love them so much. In fact, one of the reasons we're doing Trumbull Valley as a map is because it was one of the most requested features from the community, which also makes it very exciting for us to be able to say, we did it, you get it. And we have a major milestone that we're celebrating. State of Decay 2 has 10 million lifetime players.
10 million lifetime hang your hat on that. I absolutely love that. That is really grateful. Incredible, amazing news. Congratulations to you and the entire team at Undead Labs, man. Fantastic work. Well, speaking of Xbox Game Pass, let's give me the deets one more time when it comes to the update.
So the update releases September 1st. It's a free update for all State of Decay 2 owners, and it's included with Xbox Game Pass. Happy Homecoming.
I love it. Thank you, Wonder, very much.
My pleasure.
Now we move from Trumbull Valley to the Lost Valley of Reqieum. This mystical location trades zombies for ancient warrior clans, forgotten temples of long-dead god kings, and a healthy dose of hack and slash. All this awaits in Strayblade.
505 ini Halo Hadan Strayblade.
In Strayblade, you discover the mystical lost valley of Reqieum, a world which ranges from overgrown temple ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. A game world that changes based on your victories and plenty of dudes to stab in blade-to-blade combat. If that weren't enough, you even get a fuzzy little pal to help you out. Between the epic fights and this small guy, there's clearly a lot going on here. So let's hear more from Point Blank Games about Strayblade.
Hello everybody, I'm Alan Kausch, game director at Point Blank Games, and today I will show you Strayblade. Strayblade is an action RPG where you play a rogue adventurer who is exploring the ancient valley of Reqieum with his companion, a witty wolf named Boji. Unveil the history of the Forgotten Valley, muster the powers of the 3 Reqieum metals to restore balance to this war-torn land.
That is the how, as well as the why.
Combat and exploration are the 2 key elements of our game. Let's dive into the combat first. Our combat system merges strategic anticipation of enemy attacks with split-second blade-to-blade reactions. It is the high noon of skill-based melee weapon combat. To achieve that, we put our hearts into creating fluid, well-readable animations and epic cinematic finishes. You can choose from multiple weapon categories that can be combined to fit your playstyle. Now, let's take a look at the exploration. Reqieum's colorful world ranges from overgrown city ruins to frozen caves and winding canyons. Together with your companion, explore the deepest corners of an ever-changing world, bristling with adventure. Every discovery holds treasure. Find rare materials, recipes, weapons, lore pieces, and beautiful places. Change is part of your journey, where every victory impacts the world around you. When you die, time keeps moving forward. Enemies can't stay dead. New foes invade camps that you weakened. And when Boji revives you, only one thing is certain. The change you brought shapes what now awaits you. And of course, get ready for epic boss fights. We hope you enjoyed the first look at Strayblade, which will be out next year. And keep an eye on our social media channels for more information.
Crusader Kings.
Next up, one of the most unique games finally comes to Xbox.
Yeah, unique. As in, my evil twin murdered 4 of my husbands because they secretly are in love with me. Unique.
In case that didn't tip you off, we're talking about Crusader Kings 3, the medieval grand strategy and role-playing game that has you trying to defend your royal line from those that would conquer your kingdom, and evil twins apparently.
Yeah. It's coming to Xbox as an adaptation, not a direct port, meaning that the UI and controls have been refined to bring that grand strategy experience to a controller.
Not to mention bringing the grand strategy experience to my comfy living room couch.
We'll all be ruling from our throne room soon enough. Check out Crusader Kings 3 now, coming to Xbox consoles.
Paradox.
My son, we must never forget the crimes committed against us. Your father sought his glorious revenge and failed. He never understood that the greatest wars are won with weddings, not warriors. With daggers, not swords. Only the small-minded measure success across the span of a single life. The real game is played across generations. You see, real strategy requires cunning.
Crusader animation. Microsoft letter. Events
Crusader Kings 3 is wild. You really haven't lived until you've made it in England.
Well, it's nice to have hobbies. We've all gotten into some weird stuff this past year.
Weird, like diving into people's brains and exploring their mental universes projected into a psychedelic 60s wonderland kind of weird.
Exactly that kind of weird, which means I am so excited for Psychonauts to finally get a sequel. It really is indeed. Now, think about this. 2005, Psychonauts originally came out. It was a different time for gaming. Most of the biggest games that year were coming: Resident Evil 4, Battlefield 2, Call of Duty 2. They were great games, for sure. But they were all big, beefy shooter games.
Meanwhile, Psychonauts had humor, whimsy, and surprisingly heartfelt moments. It was an oasis of color and humanity in an era when games were increasingly turning grimy, dark, and combative.
Not to mention having some deceptively deep character moments.
That's why the original is considered a cult classic.
It has been a long time coming, and it is finally here. Enjoy this long-awaited launch trailer for Psychonauts.
A launch trailer.
Well, this shouldn't take too long.
With psychic powers, he dives into your mind.
Role playing කියන එක නේද? ඒක ඇත්තටම පොඩි මේකක් තියෙනවා ඔය කියන කතාව ඇත්ත නේද? හොස්මේ දුමින්ද නේද? ඒක ඇත්තක් නැත්තේම නෑ. ගොඩක් ගේම්ස් වලට role playing features කියන එක ඇඩ් කරනවනේ. දැන් කියන්නේ ඒකෙන් අර character development ඊට පස්සේ තම ගේම් එක ගහනවට අමතරව role එකක් play කරන්න stage game එක ඇතුළෙම අපිට අවස්ථාව සලසලා දෙලා තියෙනවා. ඒක ප්‍රශ්නේ තියෙන්නේ සමහර ගේම්ස් වල ගැලපෙන්නේ නැහැ.
Quit picking on the new kid.
ගොඩක් ගේම්ස් වලට
We were all new ones in case you forgot.
වැඩි කාලයක්
Got eyes on the target.
ඒක සමහර ගේම්ස් වලට හරියන්නේ නැහැ ඒක මොනවා කරත්.
I've got eyes on me.
පොඩ්ඩක් ඉතින් ගේම් හදන ඩෙවලොපර්ට පොඩ්ඩක් අදාළ ගේම්ස් වල විතරක් රෝල් ප්ලේයින් ෆීචර්ස් එලිමන්ට්ස් දාලා. හොඳයි අපිට choices හම්බ වෙනවා. අපේ character එක develop කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒතර character එකේ ගේම් එකට අදාළ තමයි. නමුත් බාහිර ඉන්හියට වෙන බලපෑම් වලට අපිට පාලනය කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ බලපෑම් වලට අදාළ අපේ ගති ලක්ෂණ දිනු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඒ වගේ අර හරි පුළුල් මේක යනවා තමයි. ඒ වුණාට ඉතින් සමහර ගේම්ස් වලට ඒක සෙට් වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අදාළ නැහැ.
Leave it to me.
Age of Empires වලට තරම් ආවනේ. මේ රෝල් ප්ලේයින් මුලින් ඒක අවුල් කියලා හිතුණාට දැන් නම් ඉතින් එහෙම ලොකු අවුලකුත් නැහැ ඉතින් බලන්න යනකොට. ඒකේ.
Well, it's clear I could not be more excited for Psychonauts 2 because I gotta be honest, me and that original game, we got some beef that needs settling. If you know, you know. The meat circus level, it is infamous, it is brutal, it is difficult to say the least. It's the final level of the original game that came out, and I cannot believe I'm doing the math on this one. 16 years ago, Tim Schafer and Lizette Teatree Montgomery. I am definitely dating myself, but you all welcome from Double Fine Productions. Thank you so much for being here. Tim, can you believe it has been 16 years? I almost said 19 years.
Yeah, it feels like only yesterday, but it kind of was for Raz because the story picks up right where the first game left off. And even though it has been a lot of years, it's a game that matters a lot to us. We really love it here at Double Fine, and we know that a lot of fans, it meant a lot to them. And so we really want to be true to the spirit of the first game, which we were able to do because we brought back a lot of the same voice actors, and we also have a lot of people on the team here that worked on the first game, as well as bringing on a bunch of new people like Lisette.
Thank you. It was really important for us to carry the legacy forward, especially the cool style of Wonk that is very prevalent in the first game.
Style of Wonk. Just put it on a shirt. I'm in there for it. Let's roll it back a bit. Of course, this can be a kind of a trippy idea if you're not familiar. Psychonauts, they still jump into people's minds, I'm assuming, like the first game, right? So if a Psychonaut sort of dove into my brain, it would be like a lot of Ted Lasso quotes and French bulldog memes. Am I correct, Tim?
Yeah, that's what's fun about a Psychonauts game is that all the levels are different, just like every person is different, based on their personality. If you could jump into someone's mind, what would it look like in there? What would be the color of the sky, and like who would the monsters be? And in Psychonauts, you get to do that because Raz has the power of astral projection. And when he goes in, he gets to fight those monsters and help people deal with their nightmares and wrestle with their inner demons. And so there's a ton of variety, and there's a lot of anything goes. You can go to any location and have any art style, and coming up with new levels for the second game was really fun to do.
Well, I loved it from the first game, certainly. Let's talk a little bit about how that kind of concept expresses itself in the game world. I mean, Psychonauts 2 has got it all over the place, for sure.
Yeah, it was really important for us to carry forward the
COVID
unique
හැදිලා
brain worlds
ගෙදර ඉන්නවා හරි
and
COVID
unique levels from the
නොහැදි
first
ගෙදර
game
ඉන්නවා හරි
and the unique style as well.
දැන් මේ පාර
So we really
දවස්
focused
දවස් නැදින
on
නීතිය නිසා හරි ගොඩක්
how we
කටි
could bring
ගෙදර
forward
ඉන්නවා
that style and
ගෙදර
walk
ඉන්න
and
කොට
also bring in
සමහර
new
වෙලාවට
levels of
මේ
enemies.
Now, of course, it wouldn't be Psychonauts
game
without
players
new
play
mental
කරලා
demons,
නැති
and I'm
කෙනෙක්
sure
වුණත්
it's happened in Psychonauts too.
පොඩ පටන්
What does
ගන්න
this
බලන
mean?
සමහරට ගෙදර
Does it
කම්පියුටර්
mean
තියෙනවා නම්
basically
හරි
that we're finally able to
කන්සෝල්
slap
එකක් තියෙනවා
COVID
හරි කට්ටිය
anxiety
ප්ලේ
in the
කරනවා
face?
දකිද්දි අඩේ මාත් පොඩ්ඩක්
Well,
ප්ලේ
I
කරලා
don't know if you
බලන්න.
get to
අන්න එහෙම
slap
අදහසක් එනවා.
anxiety in your face,
ඒකට
but you
ගොඩක්
definitely get to slap
වෙලාවට
some panic attacks. And COVID definitely caused a lot of those.
ආරම්භ බිගින කෙනෙකුට
In
හරියන
addition
ගේම්
to
එකක්
panic
තමයි
attacks,
තෝරගන්නේ.
some of our old enemies
ඒ
have also come
හින්දා
back. Our
ගොඩක්
sensors are our favorites, and they're
ලේසියෙන්
definitely
ප්ලේ
here.
කරන්න
And in
පුළුවන්
addition to
ලස්සන
that, we
කතාවක් තියෙන
also
ලස්සන
have
ග්‍රැෆික්ස්
our
තියෙන
doubts
පොප්අප්ස් නම්
and some
ඒ
new
වගේ දේවල්
enemies.
තියෙන
Those are lovely
මේ
sensor.
ගේම්ස් මානෙට ජනප්‍රිය
Also,
වෙලා
some
තියෙනවා.
regrets.
පහුගිය
Some
අවුරුදු දෙක
flying
ඇතුළත
regrets. There are a range of
මල්ටිප්ලේයර්
enemies,
ගේම්ස්
and
සෑහෙන
they
ජනප්‍රිය
definitely
වුණා
are
මේ පහුගිය
challenging.
අවුරුදු දෙක ඇතුළත ඒකට දැන්
Our
ගොඩක්
doubts are
ගොඩක්
slow,
මල්ටිප්ලේයර්
sticky,
ෆෝකස් කරපු
melee
ගේම්ස්
ending.
එන්නේ.
You're also seeing our enabler here.
ට්‍රෙන්ඩ්
He
එකත් එක්ක
is
තව ඉතින්
our,
අවුරුද්දක් දෙකක් යනකම් මේ තියෙන තත්ත්වය
it
තියෙන්නේ.
energizes our whole combat
ඒකට ඉතින්
troop.
ගොඩක්
So
වෙලාවට
we have
ගොඩක්
a
ගේම්
whole
කම්පැනිස්
cast
වල
that you can
ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක
battle
එකත් එක්ක වෙනස් වෙයි. මාකටිං ස්ට්‍රැටජි එක.
Bad mood.
Including the bad mood.
Which is
It's an
ලෝකේ තියෙන
electric
හැම
storm
දෙයක්ම
of
සලකලා බලන්න
feelings that
යාලා
you have to
තමන්ගේ
fight.
ගේම්ස් මාකට් කරන්න.
Now, for those who haven't played the original, available now on Xbox Game Pass, by the way, wink. Tim, why is Raz so good at rummaging through brains?
Raz is, he has some very special skills. He has two whole sets of skills, one being the acrobatic skills he learned growing up in the circus. He can balance on tight ropes, jump on trampolines, swing on trapezes, and that helps him navigate and get around to all kinds of interesting places. But he also has this other side to his personality, which is that he's a powerful psychic. So he can levitate objects, he can use telekinesis and pyrokinesis. He has these powers which people might recognize from the first game, as well as 3 new powers for the second game. He has the ability to mentally connect thoughts together, and he can connect 2 thoughts and actually connect 2 thoughts together to solve puzzles and to navigate in this game. He has the power of time bubble, which is just change and slow down how things are moving by changing people's perception of time. And he also has the power of projection, which allows him to pull an archetype, a personality out of his unconscious mind and bring it into the world that he's in, like a companion in battle or in puzzle solving.
But let's talk about the story for a second, because as the original Psychonauts, we saw Raz training to be part of an organization, and now perhaps part of a whole organization at this point. And are there other brain agents, other Psychonauts out there that maybe grew up in a completely different circus?
Yeah, we have a lot of new characters in this game.
We do. We have a lot of new characters in this game. As soon as Raz arrives on the headquarters, he immediately gets introduced to the interns. And the interns quickly tell him and show him how he fits into the organization.
Right down
and so earn his way back to the top again. He's no longer the coolest kid in summer camp. And much to his chagrin, his entire family, his entire embarrassing circus clothes wearing family comes to visit him in front of all his new friends. And so the interns find out that he's the awkward middle child of a circus family. Each one of them has their own quirks and foibles, and some of them are even psychic. And so a lot of their story gets told in this game, including their backstory and how it relates to the foundation of the Psychonauts themselves.
Well, I like that. And of course, as you might know already, I'm sold. But you, of course, already knew that. When can myself and the rest of the world exact some beefy meaning revenge?
You can get back to the beef and play Psychonauts 2 on August 25th on Xbox Game Pass and PC.
There it is. Lizette, Tim, Double Fine, thank you so much. And you know what? Extend a huge congratulations to everyone at Double Fine on the launch of Psychonauts 2.
Thank you so much. We're very excited.
And you can catch more of Tim Schafer and ask him those burning questions about the newest game in the fan favorite franchise in our Xbox Play stream tomorrow. But first, we're going from cleaning out mental cobwebs to cleaning up alien planets in this supremely satisfying 4K 60 trailer for The Gunk.
4K 60. ගොඩක් ඒවා අලුතෙන්ම අනවුන්ස් කරලා නම් ඇත්තටම දන්නේ නැහැ. ලොක් මේන් ෆ්‍රැන්චයිසි වල ඒවා නෙවෙයි. එක්කෝ මේවා එක ගොඩාක් කාලෙට කලින් හදපු ගේම් එකක දෙවෙනි එක. එහෙම නැත්නම් අලුත්ම IP එකක්. සමහර ගේම්ස් නේ අපි කොහොමද ගහන්නේ? ඒ වගේ අලුත් ටයිටල් එක. නැකන මම හිතන්නේ මේ IP එකක් වෙනවා කියලා.
these bags?
Wonderful. The gong. කවුද හදන්නේ? හදන්නේ.
We have talked about so many incredible games today, and it's hard to pick a favorite, but let me just say, it is so cool that State of Decay 2 is expanding Trumbull Valley. Come on! And hey, you know what? Great job on that flight sim interview.
Oh, thank you. I mean, talking to Jorg is always a blast, and Flight Sim is such a special game to me because, I mean, it's literally letting me travel the world. But I was staring daggers of jealousy watching you talk to
Well, I will say this, I understand, but you got to play Psychonauts 2 already, so I don't even want to hear it.
That's true, but it's not the same as talking to the creators. Just trust me when I tell you, be excited for Psychonauts 2.
I will say this as well, I am excited to see even more of Psychonauts 2 on our Xbox Plays streams.
Yes, don't forget, Xbox Plays will recap all the week's news throughout the week at twitch.tv/Xbox, so make sure to check that out. Before Kate and I let Playground Games take the wheel, let me just say that it's been our distinct pleasure to chat games and
Forza
nerd out
Horizon
with
5.
everyone today.
Oh, it's hands down the best part of the job, for sure.
But we're far from done here.
Too true. Now, in June, Playground Games announced that Forza Horizon 5, the highly anticipated follow-up to 2018's breakout hit open-world driving game Forza Horizon 4, arrives on November 9th on Xbox consoles, Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and cloud, and of course, Steam.
And if you're watching our Xbox YouTube channel, switch over to our Xbox Twitch channel to see all this new exclusive content.
And that is twitch.tv/Xbox for the full vroom vroom experience. And if you're already watching on Twitch or one of the Forza channels, stay right where you are.
Without further ado, let's dive in, starting with the new custom Forza Horizon 5 controller, which is available for pre-order today. So players can have it in-game by November 9th when the standard edition of the game launches.
ada mana controlling ada hari kelasnya ya udah kata kelasnya holy Forza Horizon 5 ini tinggal banget ini කෑන ගේම් එක ගැන කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. දැන්ට වීඩියෝස් එකක් කරලා තියෙනවා. පළවෙනි එක Forza Horizon 5 මේන් ගේම් එක ගැන. ගේම් එකේ මුල් කතාව කොහොමද මේක මොන තැනකින්ද පටන් ගත්ත ගේම් එකක්ද? ඒ ටික ගැන කතා කරලා තියෙනවා. ඊට පස්සේ දෙවෙනි වීඩියෝ එක අපි කතා කරා. මේ ගැන පුළුවන් වාහන ගැන.
And Forza Horizon art director Don Arcetta. Hello everybody.
Everyone, hi Charlie. Hey Charlie.
What is this? It's stunning. Look at that. Well, we obviously just saw a really cool video about it, and I'll be the first to say there is an amazing influence of Mexican car culture and music literally displayed right across the front. Isn't that right?
Absolutely. It just feels like it's a part of the Horizon Festival, like it's just dropped out of the game into your lap.
And there's so much we do want to show the fans, and it's been quite difficult to decide where to start. So can you maybe tell us a bit more about the game, Mike?
Sure, yeah. So Forza Horizon 5 is bringing the Horizon Festival's unique brand of fun and freedom to beautiful and vibrant Mexico. Players are going to set out across the largest, most diverse open world we've ever built in hundreds of the world's most beautiful and exciting cars.
Yeah, and people think that Mexico is just a desert or a beach, but there's so much more to it, isn't there?
That's right. Even though it does have pretty awesome beaches and a number of amazing deserts, it also has vast canyons, hidden temples, awesome, beautiful historic cities, and even a towering snow-capped volcano, the highest point we've ever had in a Horizon game.
So you've talked about how Forza Horizon 5 showcases powerful, all-new graphical features, but what more can you tell us about that?
So yeah, our Mexican HDR sky captures really illuminate the world to the point where you feel like you're really there. And thanks to the Xbox Series X and S, ray tracing is utilized in Forza Vista to really make our cars look more true to real life. You'll encounter the smallest of details as you travel travel throughout the world, all rendered in striking realism.
Oh, that's such an exciting overview. I cannot wait. And next up is something we know that Forza Horizon fans have definitely been waiting for the most. Mike, what exactly is that?
Yeah, that's right. We are about to reveal the cover of Forza Horizon 5, featuring the incredible Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. Should we take a look?
Let's do it, yeah.
රතු පාට AMG Project 1 එකක් ආයේ මොකද්ද මේක AMG Project 1 Forza Horizon Forza Edition දෙකම දෙනානේ කවර් එකේ
Now, those are two very different ways to explore Mexico. So what I want to know is why these two cars were chosen and what players can expect when they get behind the wheel.
Yeah, so those differences are exactly why we chose them. The Mercedes AMG 1 marks the first time a car features Formula One hybrid technology almost one-to-one from track to the street. And with the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands, that's primed for rugged off-roading across Mexico's vast terrain.
And I'm certain people can't wait to see more of what these cars can do in the game, so I don't think we should keep them waiting any longer. Mike, can you tell us about what we're about to see next?
Yes, so in a few moments' time, we'll be kicking off a Forza Horizon 5 Let's Go stream, and everybody should check that out for a big deep dive into loads of new content and features in Forza Horizon 5. But before that, we have 8 minutes of brand new gameplay where we're going to see both the Mercedes AMG 1 and the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands. And in typical Horizon fashion, we are going to see active volcanoes, cars jumping out of cargo planes, and a race under beautiful Mexican skies all the way to the Horizon Festival. Should we check it out?
I think we should.
මේ ගේම් ප්ලේ එක මෙහෙම පටන් ගන්න. අඩේ. මම පටන් ගන්න හැන්නේ. කොහොමද ඒක? අර මේක වගේ. F1 වගේ. Fast and Furious වගේ.
Here we take control of the 2021 Ford Bronco Badlands atop the towering snow-capped Gran Caldera volcano.
Gran Caldera. ඒක මෙක්සිකෝ වල තියෙන ගොමන. සහ ගිනි කන්ද. Gran Caldera ගිනි කන්දේනවා Gran Caldera වැලි එක තියෙනවා. Jumping. Petronas Formula 1 team එකේ මේ ඒකනේ තියෙන්නේ මම ඒකේ track edition එකක් කියන්නේ. ඒ track edition එකක road legal edition එකක්.
There might be a little bit of traffic ahead. Watch out for that.
එනට මං හසනේ මේ weekend drive කරන්න. මම සාමාන්‍යයෙන් අපි පේන view එක තියෙන්නේ වාහන ඉස්සරහින් ඉඳගත්තාම. ඇතුලෙන් පේන විදිහ ඒකෙන් තමයි ඒකෙන් තමයි අතන එක්ස්පීරියන්ස් එක එන්නේ මේ පාට වයිනේ මේකට දාලා තිබුණේ සෙන්සර් එකට
Drop zone approaching. Lovely day for a drive.
So now we see the 2020 Corvette Stingray tearing up the asphalt towards a dust storm in the Mexican farmland.
Corvette. Corvette කියලා Chevrolet කියන Chevy. Corvette එක ආවා 2020 මේ කාර් එක ආවා අන්න බලන්න best drivers cars 10ට 92 එකනේ Porsche
Okay, there's no other way around. We've got to go through it. For the eye of the storm.
wow මේ මාර ලස්සනයි අර කලර් තීම් එක Porsche ගත්ත මේ ටාගය ගත්තා
This could get a little rough.
992 එකක්ද
Touchdown! Not even a scratch. The jungle awaits.
Next up is the Porsche 911 Desert Flyer.
911 එක මේනේ.
Dense jungle tree canopy.
හොයන්න බෑ ට්‍රැක් කිට් එක. ලෝකේ ගොඩක් හොඳට හැන්ඩලින් දෙන කාමයක ගන්න ඉතිරි බුද්ධ මිලවනේ වා ගේම් එක තමයි ගෙනරලා ඇත්තට මිලවනේ පොත්
I'll swing back round and guide you through the bridge.
හොඳ හිට් එකක් වෙනවා ගොඩක්ලට මෙක්සිකෝවේ තියෙන මේක මෙක්සිකෝවේ තියෙන මේ අතට පද්ධති ටික ලස්සනට යන යූස් කරලා තියෙනවා ජම්ප් එකේ ස්ලෝ මොෂන් මේ වගේ ඉතින් මේ වගේ පරිසරයක ඉතින් ඔය වගේ ගේම් එකක් හදනවා නේද කියන්නේ
You're not gonna believe your eyes when you see this. Keep going.
Pelicans නේද මුන්ද නැත්තන නම එන්න දිග නම ලක්ෂණවක් කියනවා නේද
This is the final drop. The whole festival is waiting.
අනේ ආනික ප්‍රගියරද මේකේ Hi,
What do you say? Rest of the festival wins? Vámonos!
And on the final leg, we have the stunning Mercedes AMG 1 at full speed across Mexico's sun-baked rocky coast.
Horizon! This is Mexico!
ලස්සනයි ආරප් මාරු ඉතින් ඒක අච්චර ට්‍රයි කරක් ස්ට්‍රෙස් එකක් නැති තරම් ලස්සන පාරක්
If you've just arrived at Horizon Mexico, then you are in for a treat, my friend. Get ready for the biggest Horizon adventure of your life.
feel that malu Ford GT tahu kara the Ford GT Ford farnya lagi
So strap yourselves in, Horizon. I've seen this
ෂා ඔළුවේ මේක ගහන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මේ සෙට් එකක් වුණාට ඉවරයි. එතන ඉවරයි. ඉවරයි ඕනේ. අමනේ අන්තිමට හරි අපිට මේකක් දුන්නා නේද? Forza Horizon 5 එකේ ගේම් ප්ලේ එකක් පෙන්නලා මරු ඒක නම් නියමයි. ඒක සුපිරි. කලින් ගේම් ප්ලේ එකක් පෙන්නුවා තමයි කලින් ඉවෙන්ට් එකේදී. මේකත් මරු. අනිවාර්යෙන් ආවම ගහන්න මේකක් ගන්න ඕන. මේ wheel set wheel එකකුයි shift එකකුයි. බලමු මේවා ඉස්සරහට ඉතුරු කරමු. ඉතින් කොහොම ඉවෙන්ට් එක ඉවර වෙනවද? 2021 Gamescom සඳහා අරගෙන ආව Xbox Stream event එක. ඔය විදිහට ඉවර වෙනවා. අලුත් දේවල් ගොඩක් දැනගත්තානේ. අපි අලුත් දේවල් කියලා කියන්නේ විශේෂයෙන් Forza තමයිනේ. Forza එක අපි දැක්කා. ඊට පස්සේ Flight Simulator එකේ අලුත් footages වගේක් දැක්කා. ඊට පස්සේ Wasteland 3 එකට එන අලුත් DLC ටික දැනගත්තා. ඊට පස්සේ Psychonauts 2 game එක ගැන සෑහෙන ගොඩක් අලුත් දේවල් කිව්වා. State of Decay 2 ගැන කිව්වා. Dying Light 2 Dying Light 2 Stay Alive මතක නැහැ. Stay Human ගැන කිව්වා. ඔය ටික තමයි නේ. ඔව්. තව මගේ කරුණක් දන්නේ නැහැ. ඉතින් ඒ ගේම්ස් ගැන අලුත් දේවල් ගොඩක් අපිට දැනගන්න හම්බුණා. ඉතින් හොඳයි ඉවෙන්ට් එක. හොඳයි. ඔව්. තව හොඳ කරන්න තිබුණා. Halo තිබ්බේ නැහැ. IGFM 5 තිබ්බා. Halo තිබ්බේ නැහැ අඩුවක්. තව හොඳ කරන්න තිබුණා. ඉතින් අවුලක් නැහැ ඉතින් නේද? මොකද දැන් 4 වෙනි ඉවෙන්ට් එකනේ. මෙයාලගේ මේ අවුරුද්දේ තියෙන 4 නේ. එතකොට ඉතින් ෂේප් අවුලක් නැහැ. දැන් එතකොට හෙට තියෙනවා මේකේ ලයිව් එක. කියන්නේ Gamescom live එක. ඒකෙත් අලුත් දේවල් ගොඩක් අරගෙන අලුත් රිවීල්ස් ගොඩක් තියෙයි. බලමු අපි මම හෙට නැහැ කොහොමත් හෙට මට ඔක අරගෙන ඉන්න වෙන්නේ නැහැ. අනිද්දා හරි අපි ගැන කතා කරමු. ඒක මම කියන්න. කොහොමත් අනිද්දා වෙනකොට අපිට දැනගන්න පුළුවන් මොනවද අලුත් දේවල් මේක ආවේ කියලා. ගොඩක් දුරට මේ එකක් මොකද්ද? Vanguard වල ගේම් ප්ලේ එකක් කියන කතාවක් කියන ආරංචියක් යනවා. බලමු අපිනේ. එහෙනම් මම මේක අරගෙන ඉන්නම්. ඒක ආවොත් මම අරගෙන ඉන්නම් අනිවාර්යෙන්. බලන්නම් මම ඒක 100%ක් මම තාම ෂෙඩියුල් කරන්නේ නැහැ. ෂෙඩියුල් කරන්න නැතුව මම තියන්නම්. එන ගේම්ස් ටිකත් එක්ක බලලා අපිට කතා කරන්න තරම් වටිනාවක් තිබුණොත් මම අරගෙන එන්නම්. එහෙනම් ලයිව් එක මෙතනින් ඉවර කරන්නම්. එකතුලා හිටපු හැම දෙනාටම ගොඩක් ස්තුතියි. කීප දෙනෙක් වුණත් ඉතින් බැලුවා. ඒ කට්ටියට ඉතින් වටිනාවක් හම්බ වෙන්නේ නැතිනේ. අප්ඩේට් වෙන්නේ නැතිනේ. සහ අමතක වෙච්ච දේවල් මතක් කරගන්න නැතිනේ. ඉතින් ඒක වටිනවනේ. හරි. එහෙනම් අපි ගිහලා මේ ලයිව් එක මෙහෙම ඉවර කරමු. අපි අලුත් දේවල් එක්ක හම්බ වෙමු. ආය බ්‍රහස්පතින්දා වීඩියෝ එකක් දානවා. ඉරිදා Far Cry Primal එකේ ස්ටෝරි එක දාන්න තියෙනවා. ඉතින් ඒවා ටිකත් එක්ක ඉස්සරහට යමු. එහෙනම් ගිහලා එන්න නේද? මොටම සුබ රාත්‍රියක් කියන්න බෑ සුබ දැසනක්. ජය වේවා. එහෙනම් ලයිව් එක නවත්තනවා.